New York Times actually reached out to me and was like, hey, we found your product and we would love to feature it in one of our articles. And I thought it was fake. I was like, oh, she's going to ask for like $5,000 for this product placement, right?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to D2C Growth Mode, a podcast by 𝐬𝐢𝐿 where you learn from D2C experts, tactics, and skills to master your growth journey. Our guest today is Ada Hsieh, the makeup artist and entrepreneur building Fluency Beauty. Her business started focused on lip health, not only to look pretty, but to empower the courage to speak up for ourselves and for others. And we will get to dive into that very concept with Ada, a new concept that she's coming up with right now. One curiosity about Ada, though, is that she used to be a, guess what, finance bro. Yes, I didn't see that coming either. So she's now committed to helping people be gentler with their lips by combining healthy ingredients with affirming words. And I love that. I can't wait to chat more with Ada about it and about everything that she's learned so far in her journey. So Ada, thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today.
So Ada, let's start right at the beginning. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
You know what? I think my personality is and thank you to my parents. My parents have always kind of allowed me to explore the kind of person I want to be. So I think I wanted to be like everything when I was a kid, and I explored everything. I think one was like I wanted to be a writer, and then I wanted to be a marine biologist. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should go into something like an art and, like painting or something. And then, reality took hold and I went into finance.
So reality hit really hard.
Really hard. Yeah. I was like, wait, I need to make money somehow.
Cool. And I actually don't even know where to start asking about your life as a finance bro. So let's jump to the most relevant part of it. How do you actually apply what you've learned during that time to running your business now?
Yeah, so I find that running every business, you have to look at your capitals, your accounting books, your finance projections, models. Like even if you raise, you have to really understand your cap table and how dilution and equity works. I think that my experience working in finance has really prepared me for that. It makes me look at run rate and like cash projections very, very differently.
Yeah. So you have like that passion for the business, but you also have like all the huge background on numbers to actually make it sustainable, right?
Yeah, it's it's funny because I don't really like numbers. That's why I left. But it's been like like Steve Jobs. It's always like you connect the dots later on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And okay, for someone who didn't like numbers, you were there for quite a while. It was like 14 years or so.
Yeah, it was. I think it was either like Fast Company or somebody released the term recently called misaligned burnout. And that's definitely what happened.
Okay, cool. Well, glad you found yourself now. So exciting.
Thank you.
I'm also guessing that you used to work with a lot of challenging goals back then. So lots of planning about the future. And, I wonder what your big, hairy, audacious goal for Fluency Beauty is right now and how you see yourself in like 5 years, let's say.
Yeah, I definitely want to try and blow this company up as much as possible and pretty much exit and move on to the next chapter of my life because, again, like that child in me, I just want to do everything and, everything under the sun. And like, even though I'm so passionate and committed to this business right now, Like, I really want to also start an accelerator for other women who also want to start their own businesses in the future. But right now, I just want to do the best that I can with what I have, with the time that I have. And then, I live my life in chapters. So hopefully in 5 years, I get to exit and then open up this like huge accelerator for other entrepreneurs.
Wow. And okay, so by the time you exit, what would you like to be like some of the learnings that you get from Fluency Beauty?
Definitely just how to navigate retail and investors. That's something that still trying to learn everything that I can.
Okay. Okay. And actually, I've worked with brand strategy for the past several years, and I'm curious about your brand positioning with Fluency. So can you tell us more about it, and what has been maybe your favorite way of creating consistency for the brand positioning across different channels?
Yeah, so it's really hard to narrow down a message that really resonates and targets your demo. So we are actually rebranding my old brand, Ada Beauty. We saw some success there, and the new brand, Fluency, is built upon the same ethos as the last brand. So there's a lot of like crossover, but just like really growing from that foundation that was set from the rebrand. But one of our problems was that the old brand had too many messaging and it was just getting too confusing. And so I wanted to really rectify that in the new brand Fluency. So I really honed in on that. We're a plant-based makeup pigmented only from plants. So it's very simple. People understand that right off the bat. I don't want to get too confusing. So but the thing is, like, I keep forgetting about it because there's so many things I want to tell the world and share with the world. So I always I keep going on a tangent, and then I have to remind myself and pull myself back to plant-based, just do plant-based right now.
And so that seems like a kind of like a strategic shift that you took. Was that because of a feedback that you got? Like, how did you come across this?
Yeah. So one of the things, building a brand, you really have to have that community and support, and having that, you really have to find people that are on the same journey as you or have already done it. So, like your friends and family, their support is phenomenal, but they're just there for your emotional support. Like, that's it. So you really have to find the people that have done it before. And luckily, I participated in some other accelerators as well, where we had like mentor sessions. And during those sessions, they gave me that feedback.
Nice. So that seems like a very important part of the feedback that they gave you.
Sure.
Could you share any other like feedback that you found important to you? Maybe like your top 2 or top 3?
So I don't know about feedback, but I do have, I guess, tips for people who are also maybe getting mentored or seeking advice from consultants or like agencies that they hired. There are some people who will kind of be like, this is what you should do, and you should do it. Like, listen to me because I know best. But it's actually, no, you know best as the founder. And if it doesn't resonate with you, then, it's like you should have a filter. You take what's useful and you leave what's not. And you'll find people out there who are very aggressive, and you really need to listen to me, but you should listen to yourself. So that was the other, lesson that I learned. Some other mentors actually told me that they didn't like the name Fluency Beauty and it does not make sense to them. And I was like, well, that's fine. That's not you're not my demo then. So that's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And it's not surprising to me that, the people that might mentor you might not really get the stuff that you're building because
Yeah.
the I guess the odds of them like actually being your specific niche are so low that it can be, and you can be building for people that might not even know that they actually need or they want something like what you're building. So it's really hard.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And even like a lot of times I came across decisions that had to be made, and we would like sometimes try to base those decisions in data, but data is always telling us a history, right? Like it's starting from the past. So that's when, again, like there's like this intuition, this passion, this vision that you have that is really hard to trust when everyone is saying like be data driven, or like
it's very true.
You trust people that know more than you, but who does, right?
Yeah.
Like you're the only one who knows what you're doing, really.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very useful. And another thing that I noticed is that your tagline is show your true colors. And I'm pretty sure that's going to change over time because it does.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know how you came up with that and what would be your advice for other entrepreneurs out there. They're trying to kind of like convey their messaging into, those 5 words.
Yeah, so it's actually a really funny story. I've been thinking about this tagline for forever, and then I took a night off, and it was still winter in New York. And luckily, my friend has a balcony, and he like bought a small fire pit. So it was like the 4 of us outside. What is it called? We're roasting marshmallows over the fire pit, making what is it called?
S'mores,
I don't know.
Kind of thing?
S'mores. Yes, we're making s'mores. And I was just like, guys, I've been like overthinking this. This has been running through my mind for forever. And I really don't know what the tagline should be. I had a bunch of ideas, and I just started throwing out, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And they were like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And then it was actually my guy friends who came up with that tagline, because these are like some of my best friends. They know me, they know what I'm trying to accomplish. They're familiar with the brand just because I'm always talking about it with them. So they actually helped me come up with that. And it was just like so perfect because, oftentimes we're just like, we just always have to hide a part of ourselves sometimes because society doesn't deem it like acceptable, or we should do something because other people expects us to act a certain way. And so it was, and then with that, I guess, theme, I wanted to bring it back to nature, because nature is actually very shocking. Like when the lights dim, like mushrooms will glow in the dark. Fish in the sea, in the deep dark sea, will light up just to find their way. So I really wanted to bring that back into nature as well.
I love that image of things glowing in the dark. That's so cool. Yeah, that's not something that I've thought of often.
Yeah, and then like with that, like it's not even just like nature glowing in the dark. It's also just like, peacocks like showing their feathers, and all those like wonderful like delicious eye colors that just shows up in nature. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And it's almost like a partnership with nature. So you're telling me that your products are plant-based and really like made of plants, and they're like we kind of course we eat them, so we get nutrients from them, but we can partner to kind of like show the best in us in some ways. So like beetroots, for example, like how pretty they are, and sometimes we cook them, and then all that prettiness goes into the water, and then
very true,
naturally using that. So that's really nice. And so you were just telling the story behind it. I'm wondering what from that story could be used by other entrepreneurs that are kind of going through the same thing. So should they kind of like get together with their friends, roast some marshmallows, make some s'mores?
Yeah, like I think really just getting up from your chair, like stop working, go take a walk, take a break, and just like kind of breathe. I think that really helped me. And it just so happened that my friend was like, hey, come over, So yeah, I think some of the best ideas come from when you're relaxed, actually. Like, people get ideas in the shower when you're like about to fall asleep. So yeah, I think being in a relaxed state really helps. And, sitting at a desk working for like 12 hours is not going to help at all.
Okay. And now I kind of felt like sharing this, but do you ever get ideas when when you just woke up, but you didn't really wake up for real?
Yeah.
And then I don't even know what's going on in my head. Like sometimes I'm kind of like, okay, this is such an important thing that I'm thinking right now. So important. It's so important. And then when I try to go back to it when I'm actually awake, I'm like, what was I even thinking? That doesn't even exist. But it's such a cool thing that
it is
at that
cool.
moment. Yeah.
So my friend, she actually came up with the name of her brand in a dream. So she like dreamed the name. So she named her brand that. So it was really cool.
And what's the name now?
It's called 𝐻𝐭𝐮𝐲𝐶.
𝐻𝐭∗𝐨𝐻.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I remember now. I have another friend who dreamed of the name of her baby, and there was an explanation for like every letter in the name within the dream.
Whoa, that's crazy.
It is, right?
That's wild.
Which makes sense because dreaming is almost it's Otto.
Oh, okay, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like that
And then
name.
Yeah. And then she had like, I don't remember now exactly what it was, but anyway, so there were like 4 words like OTTO that meant like there was a phrase behind it.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, really cool. And then she made, she's a marketing nerd. So she made like, she made a slideshow out of it to like present the name.
Oh my God, that's explanation. So funny. Wow.
How cool is that?
I know, that is really cool.
I totally do that. I mean, another thing that I was thinking about dreaming. Oh yeah, because you were just mentioning how it's like how your advice is like just get out there, like leave your desk and go do something else. Because dreaming is kind of like that too, right?
Yeah,
it's exactly when we're 100%. Kind of like left. So.
It's very cool.
Okay, so trust your dreams. Pay attention to that.
I know.
Maybe start a dreaming journal.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Cool. And how much? So let's kind of like go into the entrepreneurial life, and as we're approaching that even more. I imagine that it's been probably a roller coaster, as everyone says that. But I wanted to hear from your lips, like how has that experience been, and can you share maybe a memorable moment from it?
Like a good or bad one?
Where you feel like really whatever comes to your heart right now.
Yes, it's been a total roller coaster. But like I said, you have to build your community of other people who are doing the same thing as you or who have already done it. So again, I reached out to one of my mentors and I was like, I'm having a really difficult time, like mentally. This journey is just so much harder than I thought it would be. And I'm like, not happy. I'm like, kind of questioning everything. Like not questioning if I should do it. I like that has never wavered, but more questioning like, am I equipped to do this? Like, why? I don't know what I'm doing. Just, I felt so lost. That's really what it was. And he told me to read a book that now I can't remember what it's called. But it was the exact book that I needed to read. And the book taught you about mental fortitude and mental strength. And that book changed my entire way of thinking. And it really transformed me in that way. So that was like one of my lowest points because I actually, quit my finance career. I packed up and left New York to kind of travel and be a nomad. And, at some point in that journey, I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm away from my friends, my family. I'm in a new city where I don't really know anyone. I'm trying to build this business and I'm sad, So that book really transformed me and it picked me up. And I really learned those skills to have mental strength.
Yeah, I'm really like, we will need to find out the title now.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go back and like look at it, but literally like I've recommended it to so many people now.
And what was like the biggest, do you remember like any specific advice that this book gave you? Like, was it more like tactical? Would it give you like the checklist of things to do in the morning? How was it like?
Yeah, it gave you like some strategies to think about things, but also it so this is how this book was like written by a man. Every single thing was like an analogy to sports. And it made sense. So because athletes do also have to have like mental fortitude. So it was just talking about, like someone who plays baseball, they go up to the bat. They literally have to envision it or see it in their mind's eye that they're going to hit the home run. And like a really high percentage when they do that, it happens, like swing after swing, home run, or like, it's a really great swing. So they like said things about that. And then also like one tactic that I found really helpful was instead of saying like, you have this one big goal, and if you don't make it, then you failed. Like, it's not like that. It's like, you have to like, they suggested like every week list out things that you made progress on, things that actually were completed. So that's also great. And then things that are still kind of taking its time. That's still simmering. So if you break it up into categories like that, into smaller like progressions, then like you actually see that you're moving somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Like small deliverables, and then you're moving forward. And at the same time, I feel like that helps us understand the learnings that we get in the middle as well, in between one big goal and the other. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, those are very good and very easy to imagine the impact, So that's good. And like I wouldn't say the sports examples are good.
Yeah.
I would have been like,
this book and I was like, yeah, but the
home run.
Like,
I mean,
they were just like, like you can practice all the time, and then that's only part of the equation. It's actually envisioning it for yourself as well. And there's like, then it like went into like, there's scientific studies to back this up. They see the brain waves that are moving along when they envision it at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. Cool. And what has been maybe like the first milestone that you accomplished in your journey? So it can be like from a while back. Do you remember it?
Yeah. So R&D took us 4 years for the first first product to fully come out and be sold to people. And even though I was getting really great feedback from customers, I still wasn't really happy with the formula. So then I reformulated for the rebrand. And it's, again, like built on the same formula, but just like elevated. And that took like another 1.5 to 2 years. So in total, like R&D was like 6 years, really. So all of this, I think that was the biggest milestone, was actually from concept to physical product. It was a long journey.
Oh my gosh, the resilience, the patience. I'm anxious, just imagine it. How did you handle all that? Like, what did you do? Like
I mean,
therapy?
oh yeah, it's mom therapy is what it's called. I called my
Okay.
mom and like cried to her all the time. And my mom is just like, all moms are amazing people when they're just like, calming their children, calming and loving on their children.
That's so funny because just yesterday I was telling my partner about how there was this point in my life where I had this friend who was going through something really difficult. And my first idea of what I could do, I just thought, I'm just going to send her to my mom's house so that she can be nurtured by my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the first idea I had. And I actually took that seriously. I called my mom. I was like, can I get her a ticket to go visit you?
Oh my God. Yes. I love that. I love that. You can send me to your mom's too. It's fine.
Yeah, whenever you need, and it's in Brazil. So
ooh, I would love that.
Yeah, moms are very special beings. Oh my gosh.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Okay, so mom therapy. So definitely good advice. I do that too. And what has been like a recent milestone? So after R&D, like maybe within like sales and marketing, was there something that got you really excited about what you're building?
Yeah. So I guess like with all the lows that you encounter as an entrepreneur, like the highs will blow all the lows out of the water, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the highs only happen if you keep going. So you just have to keep going. So one of them was New York Times actually reached out to me and was like, hey, we found your product and we would love to feature it in one of our articles. And I thought it was fake. I was like, oh, she's going to ask for like $5,000 for this product placement, right? Mm. But it was like real and she didn't want anything. They were like, hey, we're doing this article on like lip products. So would love to include you. And I was like, oh my God, this is pretty cool.
Oh, that's so cool. When was that?
This was in, I think November of last year.
2023. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh wow. Congrats. That's like,
Thank you.
That's huge. That's
cool.
So
that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So, apart from like really important news outlets calling you, what have you found like most thrilling about building a brand from the ground up?
There's so many. I think one of it is really, you actually find yourself, you actually get to know yourself more and what you're made of. So I think that's been really fun. Just kind of, I feel like I've grown so much through this entire journey, and mostly from leaving my job last year. Was it last year? Maybe 2 years ago now. Leaving my job and really doing this, like committing to this, that really showed me a lot. That showed me that my family and my friends, the people that I have around me, are really solid, amazing people. Like I didn't make a mistake with not one single friend that I made, because everyone supported me. Like they let me crash on their couches, like stay at their homes for free for like months. My family, my brother, my parents, my sister, they were all just like, yeah, if you need to stay at our place, just stay, whatever. So I was lucky in that way, because I know a lot of people don't have that. They have like children that they have to take care of, like a partner that they really, so I'm like, I know that I'm really privileged in that way. So if anyone is also the same situation as me, you really have no excuse not to pursue what you really want to do. If you have this kind of like foundation and support group around you, you have nothing to be scared of, because if you fail, you still have, moms in your old childhood bedroom to sleep in, so it's fine. So I think, sorry. Okay. I forgot the question. What were we talking about as a question?
We were talking about thrilling moments. I think you got a lot of them. So
yeah. I think, and really just like, like things that you would never imagine um, would just happen. Like I never thought I would be in the New York Times, you know, or like people approaching me. Like I was at a vegan restaurant in New York and the waiter was like, "Oh, do you own that beauty brand?" And I was like, "How did you know?" Like it was wild. So like things that you've never even dreamed of, like just start happening to you.
Yeah, yeah, that makes so much sense. And I can totally see. I mean, I think that a lot of people can see themselves in like that kind of story because it's like we have. I mean, you were just telling us about this ideas that you had grown like since when you were a kid of like pursuing like arts or pursuing like think we're more creative, and then going within and then actually choosing a path that would lead you to financial freedom or to like more economic resources. And but then at the same time it's not freeing because it's not yourself. Right, so you kind of have to move away from that which is very safe, but then kind of like find your own path. And I feel like it's kind of hard. Like that's something that I bring up in therapy a lot because I feel like it's really hard to not only make that decision, but to actually feel like you deserve to be happy and you deserve to kind of build what you actually believe in, what you're passionate about in a world that actually so many times told us that we had to like, take this kind of like life recipe and follow the exact steps that everyone says are the right ones.
Yeah.
To be, like successful. Right.
Yeah. So, I do have 2 points on that if I don't forget. So one of them was like, I already forgot. There was like 2 things that I wanted to say. Sorry. My mind is always like jumping from thing to thing. And so
can relate to that so much.
So what was it? Oh, I don't regret doing finance for so long ever, just because finance is actually what brought me to New York. Because if I didn't have my finance job, there's no other reason to come to New York unless I was like maybe doing fashion or tech maybe, but tech is more in San Francisco. Like, so finance really was like my like destiny, I guess, at that point to find my way to New York. So I will never regret that misalignment, even though it was like not my purpose, but it really served me in that way. And then second is, I think what I learned on my like year of traveling around and being a nomad was like, when you're stripped down that much, you don't have an address and you're no longer in the safety of people that you know, like friends and family, and you only have yourself. And then I was still pretty much struggling. I had like no income at the time because everything I was making, I was just reinvesting it back into the business. Like, looking back, I think I might have been a little bit malnourished because of that too. Like every dollar I spent, I was like, oh my God, like, should I be buying this right now? So I think when you're stripped back so much, you really rethink about your life and how things should be. So when you talk about like happiness and what you deserve, you actually find that, like happiness is, I found so much happiness just listening to the birds sing, like little simple things like that, you know? So I don't know if everybody needs to like do such a drastic like journey, but I found that it helped me personally.
Yeah. And I love how that kind of aligns to one thing that I've been trying to think of a lot, which is sometimes we don't feel ready to do something that we really want to do, but the journey kind of like prepares us to that, and it doesn't prepare us theoretically. It prepares us like practically. So we were like manually doing something. So even like your 14 years working as a finance pro, that was part of your journey. And it's a very relevant and very important part of your journey, so that you can kind of like, I feel like maybe the secret for me from this conversation that we're having right now, and what you brought up about the sports people, is to actually have that, visualize that kind of final goal that you have, that thing that you really want to do, and be able to kind of understand that what you're doing is kind of like taking you there.
Yeah, you are so right on that. Just because this entire journey is not easy at all. Like, you really have to have that vision that you spoke of. Otherwise, you're going to just quit. When times get tough, you just quit because your vision isn't strong enough. Like, if all you wanted to do was to make money is never going to be strong enough to get you past like the next challenge or obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that said, I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. So what has been the number one skill that you've mastered throughout like these years of Fluency Beauty?
Definitely mental fortitude, for sure. It took a long time. You always think you're strong until you're like really put through the ringer, and then you really have to just like ground down, I think is the phrase. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to dig deep.
The resilience.
Yeah. Yes. You have to just dig really, really deep. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yes, that makes sense. A lot of sense. And what is so now, like thinking of business owners out there, like what do you consider to be the number one thing that they should be doing if they are actually looking into getting their brands out there, getting recognized by who they are, by how they position themselves, like you were when the New York Times called you? What do you think they should be doing right now?
I think they need to really build a strong brand. The foundation really has to be there. Like your values, your missions, even the look and feel, like everything brand DNA, it has to be solid. Yeah, because all of these brands are closing right now, in this economy, and you really have to you have to build a strong brand to build a strong community around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So brand is what helps people connect more deeply with what you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that, because a lot of times when now I work with a lot of like branding, but while growing up, I would hear a lot of times people saying like, I grew up in a very like simple environment where we didn't have like money to splurge on like branded items. So brand would be a bad thing. Would be like, you shouldn't like buy branded stuff because it costs more than unbranded. Like if there was anything that is unbranded, there's just like good brand and bad branding.
Yeah.
But everything is branded, right?
Yeah.
There's always a name there, even if no one knows. Right?
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. That's funny.
Yeah. And we kind of have to break away from that concept of like branded stuff being a bad thing. I think it's just a way for people to recognize things and values that they actually consider relevant, and it actually goes back in time to like, it has a very functional reason to exist, which is like for people to easily recognize what makes sense to them and not have to kind of read through 1,000 reviews or go through all of it, right? Like to understand if that company or that brand connects to how they make decisions in life, right? So it has to be faster.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
No, yeah.
And okay, another question that I have. So some people are really crazy about numbers. Some people are crazy about building a community. Some people are obsessed about like creating the perfect customer experience. So I wonder, what is it that you're passionate about and obsessed about while you're building like your positioning?
Well, for me, because this isn't my strong suit, it's marketing and branding, actually. So I've been working really, really, really hard on that and doing as much research as I can, because I know that's not my background. and it's something that I'm lacking. So I am currently obsessed with that.
Okay, cool. And is there like anything that you've learned so far that you would like to share with people that is related to like helping people get something that they dream of doing and to actually get those things done, that dream kind of like done and work towards it?
So sorry, are you asking
Any advice or any yes.
Yeah, it's to I really think it's really just to reflect, go to a quiet place in nature, preferably. Nature is just very, very inspiring, and you find a lot of peace out there. Just, or like, you don't have to like go to a beach or something. Just go to your neighborhood park, and just sit out there and really reflect. And think about like social norms and constructs, I think are really important, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So if you're feeling lost, like I really think you should just kind of start questioning things and questions will lead to answers, So, and I think, don't be afraid of what people will think if you do it or what they will say. Because people always have opinions, that's going to be tried and true, I guess. Everyone will always have opinions about what you should be doing with your life, what you should be wearing, what goals you should hit by what age. Like there's always these like underlying things, but it's really what works for you, and you shouldn't listen to people all the time. Nice. Sometimes you listen to your mentors, sometimes, if it makes sense.
I think it's like the cautious of like being very intentional with your listening. So it's just not, it's not just listening. True. It's like listening, questioning, and
Yeah.
Okay. And I did like this Cavenger's hunt into like your website. I was looking for like stuff that I wanted to pull out.
You're very good, yeah.
And I found this sentence that I really loved that says, "There's a voice that doesn't use words. Listen." It's very connected to what you just said. It's by Rumi, a philosopher that I deeply, deeply admire. And and I wanted to hear a little bit about that. Like because I'm actually curious about like your connection to Rumi. How did you hear about him or like about his stuff? And how does that kind of like, what did that unlock in your life?
Yeah. So let's see. First of all, I think I saw that quote on scrolling through Instagram, and it just stuck with me forever and ever. But it really is, because it's in those moments of like quiet that you really kind of like get this weird little nudge or little knowing deep inside of you of like what you want to do in your life. And that really coincides with like peace. And so for me, it was because my background is like self-taught, like special effects makeup artist and fashion editorial. And it was in those sessions that I really like kind of got an inkling of what I really wanted to be. And I really started exploring that more. And then one thing led to another, and then I started this brand.
Okay, so it kind of like from Instagram, from a quote on Instagram.
Yeah.
So people, please keep on posting your quotes on Instagram.
I know, yeah. I think because I really love poetry, and I follow all of these different poetry Instagram pages. So that was just one of them that popped up.
Nice. Okay, and have you read anything else from Rumi after that?
I like I just Google some of his like phrases and things from time to time. And I think I got a book. But his like book was actually like, it's really dense, his book. The concepts that he writes about, they're just like, there's a lot to unpack in his books.
Mm-hmm. There are
So
layers,
yeah,
lots of layers.
it's
Yeah.
crazy, but it's like and then Google will kind of give you the summary of his like top quotes and poems, so it makes it a little bit easier to digest.
Mm-hmm. 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 I kind of want to share something. I know the interview was with you, but
no
but there's
worries,
just it reminded me of something that I think is funny because to me, how it came across for me was I went to like the secondhand bookshop in Toronto when I was visiting. I was just there for like a few days, and I always like to go to secondhand bookshops because that's where you find like the gold, like curated stuff.
That's so true, right? Yeah.
Right. And then I went and spoke to the owner, and I was just like, like this is the kind of thing that I really like. I picked up a few books, and then he came over to me and he was like, "So I have this CD, and I think you might like it." And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, why not?" And then I got the CD, and then I went back home, and I didn't even have a place to play it. Because it's a CD. Where do you play a CD? Like my computer didn't.
So funny, yeah.
Right? Like I had the CD and I was just like, I want to know what's in there, but how do I play this? Okay, so I got this. I was able to find this car that had a CD
player. My God, that's so funny. Yeah.
I know. And then I went for a ride in a park, and it started playing. And then there was this poem. I didn't really get it, but like I only started to pay attention to this poem happening by the time it was like at the middle of it, I guess. But he was talking about how like time is like a knife, and I don't really understand, and I don't remember anymore. But I that was like maybe 80 years ago or something. But I listened to that poem on like repeat for like 2 hours or so, and then I got a notebook and I started like trying to write down the poem from what I was listening. Anyway, so this was a CD of like a translator, a Rumi, like a person who studied Rumi very deeply and translated his poems to English, and he was actually like saying those poems out loud to like a crowd in Toronto.
Oh wow!
I don't know exactly where. And that was a live recording.
Oh wow!
So that's my story, and then I became a little bit obsessed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my God! Yeah, I love his stuff. It's so beautiful.
Anyway, so yeah, it just felt like sharing.
Well, thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you for listening. I have 3 final questions for you. So, first question is, if you could design a beautiful mural in a location that you love and you could put a message in it, what would it be?
Oh my God, it's so funny. I'm going to tie up everything we just talked about. I love this question. It's very unique. So I would paint, of course, a mural of flowers. Of course. But then like when the sun sets and the nighttime comes, it would glow in the dark. And the message actually is, again, another Rumi quote. And I forgot how it goes exactly, but it's pretty much just saying like, if it's dark and you can't find the light, it's because like you're the light because you can't see it. So yeah.
Goosebumps. Oh my gosh. Yes. I love it. I want to see that mural. Okay, we need to find an artist to help us.
I know, one day. Yeah.
I love it. It could make a really cool like marketing thing for Fluency Beauty too.
Oh, maybe I should like mark that down or jot that down before somebody else takes it.
Right.
I know.
Okay, second question is, if you had unlimited budget to spend on marketing a brand new product that no one has ever heard of, what would be the first thing that you would do? And what would be the last thing that you would do?
I do like this as well. So like we mentioned before, I would like start that accelerator. Maybe that would be like the first thing. And then the second thing is I think we are still in this period or moment in time where the female body isn't very well known because all the medical studies were like done on men and they have all these like facts on men, but the like female health is still kind of unknown. And I feel like women are like gaslit at doctors' offices, or they're kind of just like brushed to the side, like, oh, you're fine, you're healthy, nothing's really wrong with you, you should just go home. Things like that. So I know that a lot of what is it called? Like medical conditions are maybe missed or diagnosed later on because of these things. So I definitely want to invest more in like new research for female health, or like maybe better, like, I don't know, doctor visits, or, you know, just like something. The system needs a little bit of like a makeover pretty much. And like female health is a very unique thing. Like our bodies can house other people inside, you know, like grow this whole thing. So our bodies are very unique, and the science isn't there, unfortunately, and the medicine, it's not there. So definitely like birth control, because like birth control just messes with women so much, but yet the burden always falls on us to do something about that. So definitely something there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I hope we get all the budget in the world so that you can start prioritizing those things too. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Last question is about a book. You just mentioned a book that it was very important to you, but I actually was going to ask if you have any books that you like recommending to curious people.
Yeah. So I guess it like to curious people, like I'm assuming for people to like find maybe their purpose or like what makes them happy. My favorite book is actually The Alchemist. It's one of my all-time. I like keep reading that book over and over, and it's just about, you know, this guy going on a journey to find this treasure. It's just such a good story. It has so many life concepts packed in this like pretty short story that I love.
Ada, I think you're like, I'm not sure if you're the second or the third people in this podcast to recommend The Alchemist.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah. No, that book is like so like crazy popular and has sold so many copies like for a reason, because like everyone, I think deep down really wants to find their life purpose, or like, why do things keep happening to me? And like, they want to change their life somehow. And this book really does like inspire you to do that.
Oh my God. I'll have to say the same thing that I've said to everyone else I've recommended it, is that I haven't read the book yet. And it's so sad because I know that because it's from a Brazilian author, Paulo Coelho.
Yeah.
And I grew up hearing about it, and still haven't read it. So definitely need to. Okay. I need to take that mental note.
I love the lessons and all the advice in that book. It's wrapped up very neatly with a little bow. And it's a great story. That's why. But he did. It was so smart. Like how he wrote is just so smart. So smart.
Okay. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I'll try to do this time.
Yes.
Okay, I need to get out of here and already
it's an easy read. You should. It's such an easy read. Very like easy to understand concepts. Yeah. But there's so many I guess like analogies and it's just very well done.
I kind of feel like there are some certain books that, you know, there's a right time in your life when, you know, you can approach them, and sometimes they're just reading for you, because I remember like even, you know, The Little Prince is also like a classic, and it also has a lot of layers underneath it. And I remember reading it when I was a kid. I was just like, this is not fun. This is really like, this is sad.
So funny. I actually never read that book. So.
No, I picked it up maybe like 2 years ago again, and then I finally got it, because it's not it's not for kids. It's an adult book.
Okay, maybe I should read it now then.
Yeah,
I'll look into that.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. It can kind of like face it as it's almost like a poem. It's not so much book because it is a poem in my opinion. So
yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna add it to my list. Nice.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay, Ada, thank you so much for sharing so much about your journey and for being so inspiring and for thinking of every woman in this planet when you have all the budget in the world. Like, I mean, thank you for that.
Thank you
Really
so
appreciate
much.
it.
This has been so fun. I loved all your questions. They were like so thoughtful. You definitely did your due diligence. Thank you.
Try. Yeah. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening, and I'll see you next time. Ready for this episode's takeaways? Number 1, set moments to reflect. Find moments of quiet introspection to reconnect with your inner voice and gain clarity on your goals. Number 2, be part of a community. Surround yourself with a supportive network of friends, family, and mentors who believe in your journey. And number 3, trust your intuition. Stay true to yourself, even when faced with external pressure to conform. Your unique perspective is what sets you apart. This was D2C Growth Mode, a 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 original podcast. Subscribe to get the hottest takeaways from all of our original shows every 2 weeks in your inbox. Happy emailing!